The room exuded a quiet authority, subtly illuminated to accentuate the grandeur of its historical context. Intricate designs on the walls whispered tales of past interstellar treaties and alliances, while the vast window showcased the endless expanse of the cosmos, each star standing sentinel to the discussions within. Solane, the esteemed leader of the Galactic Council, walked in, the soft echo of his steps on the marble betraying the weight of his role. His face, a map of lines and contours, revealed a life immersed not only in stellar battles but also in the equally challenging arena of galactic politics. Varro, standing by the window, started without preamble.
The meeting has been scheduled in 2 days.
Solane, pausing for a moment, inquired,
"And what of the murmurs regarding Zorvan's fleet?"
Varro nodded in affirmation.
They are true. Since expressing his intent to unite with us, many have rallied to his cause. He now boasts a fleet surpassing 100 vessels.
"That's considerable firepower,"
Solane mused, visibly impressed.
"These additional ships could greatly tilt the balance in our favor against the Drak onslaught."
The location of the meeting remains Zorvan's choice,
Varro added. Solane responded with understanding.
"Fair enough. 2 days gives us ample preparation. It's crucial that our stand against the Drak is undivided and formidable."
Drawing closer, Varro emphasized,
Solane Zorvan's fleet is not just an addition, it's a force multiplier. With these ships, our defensive stance against the Drak becomes that much more robust.
Solane pondered.
"While the tactical advantage is clear, I wonder about the political ramifications. Our histories with the Veritans, our past skirmishes. Can Zorvan genuinely prioritize this alliance over past grievances?"
Varro's gaze held conviction.
In the face of the Drak, old enmities fade. While Zorvan undoubtedly seeks respect and recognition, the essence of survival, our collective survival, will guide him.
A brief silence ensued as Solane weighed the implications.
"Varro, aligning with Zorvan is pivotal, especially now. But it's a strategic move against a common foe."
Varro, smiling faintly, responded,
Exactly. If Zorvan stands with us, the Galactic Council gains a significant edge.
Solane questioned further.
"But should Zorvan's terms surpass our limits?"
With a chuckle, Varro answered,
Then we negotiate, find common ground, and ensure a future where the Drak is not the victor. Remember, we're on the same side. Zorvan might not be the ally we wanted, but he's the ally we need.
Solane nodded, the weight of the upcoming meeting and the Drak threat heavy on his mind. The room, which moments ago was rife with uncertainty, now held an air of cautious optimism. Solane, ever the leader, declared,
"In 2 days, we'll align our strategies."
Varro, offering a reassuring gesture, stated,
Uniting with Zorvan might be born out of necessity, but it's the strategy we must adopt now.
The Council's preparations. The Council chamber buzzed with a frenetic energy, a hive of activity as commanders, strategists, and experts darted between holographic displays, poring over a myriad of charts, star maps, and tactical simulations. At the head of the vast room, a monumental table curved in a half-circle. Here, the most influential figures of the Galactic Council sat, including Solane, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of the projections. A hologram in the center, depicting a fleet arrangement, altered between two formations, one with just the Council's fleet and another bolstered by Zorvan's forces. The difference was staggering, the latter showing a compact, formidable force capable of holding its ground against the Drak onslaught. Councillor Tylia, a renowned tactician, pointed to the formation with Zorvan's fleet.
With the Veritan rebel forces, our chances of withstanding the initial Drak wave increase by a staggering 42%. Their guerrilla tactics and advanced cloaking technology could be a game changer.
A ripple of unease spread among the council members. Many shifted uncomfortably in their seats, the idea of allying with a former enemy clearly unsettling.
"We cannot deny the numbers,"
said General Lorne, a seasoned human war veteran with a face scarred from battles past.
"but trust is not built on data projections."
Solane cleared his throat, bringing attention to himself.
"We're not asking for trust, merely a strategic alliance. Our primary goal remains the survival of our civilizations."
As murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber, Councillor Grav, a towering figure with a mechanical arm, rose.
"Then let's discuss our reconnaissance mission. Gathering intel on the Drak's capabilities is paramount.
Solane nodded, gesturing to a side panel. The display transitioned to show two impressive human cruisers and schematics for the stealth ships.
We're dispatching 2 of our cruisers, and a total of 3 stealth ships to cover the most ground. Their primary objective is to venture deep into Drac territory and uncover the truth about their alleged star-killing weapon.
A hush enveloped the hall. The weight of this mission, its significance, hung in the air, a palpable tension. A sharp, hawk-eyed admiral interjected,
"Are we sure about this? Sending stealth ships deep into enemy territory is risky. If they're captured..."
Solane raised a hand, silencing him.
It's a calculated risk, but the potential reward, information about a weapon that could annihilate stars, is invaluable. We need to know if it exists and where.
Shifting gears, Solane activated another projection, a detailed map of the galaxy's outer rim. He highlighted several systems.
These are our most vulnerable points, the likeliest first contacts with the Drac. We need fortifications now.
General Lorne stood, pointing at a few marked systems.
Dispatch our heavy cruisers to these worlds. We'll create a layered defense, a bulwark that will buy us time.
Counselor Taelia added,
And not just military assets. We need supply routes, medical facilities, and infrastructure. It's not enough to defend. We need to sustain.
As the meeting progressed, the chamber transformed into a nerve center of logistics and strategy. Routes were plotted, fleet formations adjusted, and supplies allocated. Hours seemed to blur, but when they finally adjourned, there was a collective sense of purpose in the air. Despite the looming Drac threat, the Galactic Council had rallied, coming together with a renewed determination. As Solane left the chamber, he paused, gazing back at the busy room. The weight of leadership, the responsibility of billions of lives, weighed on him. But for the first time in weeks, there was also a glimmer of hope. Into the shadows. The vast expanse of space stretched out before the 2 human cruisers, the starry void punctuated by distant nebulas and the cold shimmer of remote stars. Their journey had taken them to the fringes of the Galactic Council's domain, skirting the boundaries of the sinister Drac territories. The majesty of the universe around them stood in stark contrast to the tension-laden environment within the cruisers. Commander Ilias paced the bridge of the lead cruiser, the Daedalus. His gaze constantly flitted to the star charts, showing their progress as they approached a vast asteroid field. These tumbling rocks and ice bodies would provide some cover, a strategic place to lie low.
"Prepare to go silent,"
he ordered crisply. All around him, officers and crew hurried to their stations. The cruiser dimmed as non-essential systems powered down, the humming of the engines dropping to a gentle purr. They were in silent mode, a state of near-complete stasis that made them virtually undetectable to enemy sensors. On the secondary cruiser, the Sentinel, Captain Carter was making similar preparations. As the ships drifted closer to the asteroid field, he opened a secure channel to the Daedalus.
"Daedalus, this is Sentinel. Ready for the operation."
Carter's voice crackled over the comms. Commander Ilias nodded, responding,
"Roger that, Sentinel. Stand by for deployment."
Inside the Daedalus, the cruiser's cavernous shuttle bay echoed with quiet anticipation. Here, crews of the 3 stealth ships waited for their briefing. These 2-person vessels were sleek, designed for discretion and agility, the pinnacle of human stealth technology. Commander Ilias stepped onto a raised platform, his voice authoritative and reassuring.
"We're at the edge of the known universe, and beyond this point lies a mystery we need to unravel. Our mission is to discover the Drac's potential star-killing capabilities and get a closer look at their occupied worlds. Remember, stealth is your shield. Rely on your training and trust in each other."
Lieutenant Mira, one of the stealth ship pilots, looked over to her co-pilot, Ensign Garo. Their eyes met in silent understanding. This was the mission they had trained for, a mission that could change the fate of the war. With the briefing concluded, crews took their positions. The massive bay doors of both cruisers groaned open, revealing the vast darkness of space. One by one, the stealth ships floated out, their engines a muted thrum in the silence of the void. A moment later, their advanced cloaking systems activated. The ships shimmered and, like mirages, seemed to fade into nothingness. Only faint outlines were visible, and soon even those disappeared. Back on the bridge of the Daedalus, Commander Ilias watched the last traces of the stealth ships vanish. A heavy sigh escaped him.
May the stars guide them safely back to us,
he murmured. Captain Carter aboard the Sentinel echoed the sentiment.
They are our eyes and ears in the dark. All we can do now is wait and hope.
The two cruisers settled into a tense vigil, surrounded by the quiet chaos of the asteroid field. Inside, crews monitored instruments and maintained watchful eyes on Drac territories, waiting for any sign from the stealth ships. The void of space, so vast and indifferent, seemed to close in around them. Yet within this vast darkness, there was a sliver of hope, a glimmer of a chance to turn the tide against the Drac. The fate of the reconnaissance mission, of the galaxies at stake, now rested on the shoulders of those aboard the stealth ships, venturing into the heart of the unknown. Diplomacy amidst animosity. The setting sun cast a reddish hue over the meeting room located on the neutral moon base of Triax. This outpost, once a bustling trade hub, had seen better days, but now it served as the venue for a meeting of two formidable leaders, Solane and Zorvan. The door slid open with a hiss, revealing Solane, a tall, imposing figure with a stern face etched with lines of age and stress. Close behind him was Varro, ever vigilant. Across the room, framed by a window that showcased the vastness of space, stood Zorvan. His Veritan form, lithe and silver-skinned, reflected the light in a way that almost seemed ethereal. The air was thick with tension, memories of old conflicts and betrayals echoing in the silence, but Solane was the first to break it.
Zorvan,
he greeted, voice cool, yet not without a hint of respect. Zorvan responded with a nod, his blue eyes fixing on Solane's.
We meet in dire times, Solane.
That we do,
Solane acknowledged, moving to the center of the room.
Our past is riddled with mistrust, but the Drac threat looms large. We need to set aside our differences.
Zorvan's eyes glinted, the hint of a smirk on his lips.
I remember a time when humans worked in the shadows, manipulating the Council to further their interests and diminish ours. A time when Veritans were pushed to the periphery.
Solane stiffened.
Those were different times, and our survival depended on it. But now, the stakes are higher. It's not just about Veritans or humans. It's about the very existence of our galaxy.
Zorvan leaned forward, his voice taking on an icy tone.
Your survival always seems to come at the expense of others. But tell me, why should we lend our fleet, only to be cast aside once the threat is over?
Varro stepped forward, ready to intervene, but Solane raised a hand, signaling him to stand down. He met Zorvan's challenging gaze head-on.
Because, Zorvan, if the Drac win, there won't be a council to manipulate, nor worlds to vie for dominance. We will all be dust.
The two leaders stared at each other, the weight of their shared history and the imminent threat pressing down on them. Finally, Zorvan exhaled, breaking the tense standoff.
Very well, but there are terms. I will command my fleet. They will answer to me, and only to me. Any orders from the Council will come through me. Do we have an understanding?
Solane nodded slowly.
Your terms are acceptable. In return, I promise to seek an amnesty for you, your generals, and your soldiers from the Council. It will stand until the Drac are defeated.
Zorvan gave a curt nod, sealing the deal.
Then let it be known that for this brief moment in history, humans and Veritans stand united.
As their meeting concluded, the two leaders approached the window, the cosmos stretching endlessly before them, each star a beacon of hope and each void a reminder of the uncertainty they faced. Solane murmured more to himself than to Zorvan.
The universe has a way of bringing foes together when survival is at stake.
Zorvan replied,
Yes, and perhaps in fighting together we may find a way to coexist long after the Drac are gone.
In the vast expanse of the universe, amidst the tapestry of stars and darkness, two leaders pondered the future, united by a fragile truce and a shared resolve to face the coming storm.